Book 1 of The Guardian Vambrace by H. Jane Harrington. Chapter 1. Flight of the Princeling. Death is blind to the plight of kings and ants. Master Kezias. Foolish playwrights who scripted scenes of the gallant evasion had gotten it decidedly wrong. There was no thrill in escape, no exultation in flight. There was no flavor of romance or glory. To skirt the hand of death left only an animal desperation in the gut and a thirsty desiccation on the tongue. It was gritty and sour, tinged with a metallic tang that clung to the throat like phlegm. A terribly misguided sage had once penned, "Immortality is recognized by none but youth." Vaunus Aurelius took umbrage at such an observation. He had never, in all his 17 years, entertained the certainty of his existence. Each day dawned with the understanding that death's greedy fangs were nipping at his heels. It had never come so close until now, and so Vaughan ran. It would have been easier were his feet shod. It would have been easier if there was some hint of moonlight to guide him, and it would have been easier were he not stumbling blindly through the forest. Luck was not on Vaughan's side this night, and there was nothing easy about his escape. As brambles and thorns etched crimson canyons into his delicate feet, Vaughan wished to the 7 gods that he had been granted time to don his shoes and cloak. Assassins never allowed for such convenience, so he was forced to flee with naught but the night clothes on his back. He could only hope his mother, Queen Palinora, had fared well against the attackers. Her guardian, Ithinar, was with her, but Vaughan still feared for her safety. Though guardians were amazing warriors, they were not invincible. Worse, recent events had proven that the guardian magic might not have been as infallible as once believed. This turned Vaughan's thoughts to his elder brother, the late Crown Prince Tarnavarian. Vaughan had been 3 years old when he had last seen his brother and father. He bore no memory of them. The lost relationship of siblinghood had always tormented him. Now he suffered the bitter tang of regret as well, for the possibility that he would ever know the reality of brotherhood was gone forever, awash with the blood that had stained the blade of Tarnavarian's most trusted and capable protector. It was unheard of, a guardian killing his own charge. It went against the very nature of order. Most had believed it was not even possible. Guardians took their oath with the utmost gravity. The very magic infused in the oath prohibited a guardian from harming or abandoning his royal charge. This was the first time in history that any member of the royal family had been so murdered. Vaughan would never have the chance to know his brother, and now he was the crown prince. The belated realization struck him like a blow to the gut. He was the crown prince, next in line to be king. There had been no time to process the news of Tarnavarian's death before the assassins had come. The events of the last few hours were a muddled whirlwind. Vaughan had been sharing an evening meal with Ithinar and his mother when panic erupted in the streets. People were shouting and crying. Chaos ensued. Ithinar quickly ushered them into the safe room before departing to investigate the commotion. Every room they had ever occupied had been equipped with such a room, which was heavily barriered against attack. When Ithinar returned, he guided Palinora to a seat and gently presented the news from the street that Tarnavarian had been assassinated by his own guardian. His mother had remained stoic, but Vaughan knew the revelation had pained her. Although she appeared outwardly impassible, Palinora must have been aching inside for the loss of a son she had not seen in 14 years. After dressing for bed, Vaughan's head had rested upon his pillow, but the bellowing mourners in the streets beyond his window might as well have been weeping in his ears. They chased away any hope of slumber. He had expected them to wail late into the night, just as they did when the town's Lord Mayor had died in a tragic accident. Odd, Vaughan had thought, for them to blindly mourn someone they had never known. It was duty, he supposed, for a people to grieve their own departed leaders, yet he, the closest kin of the crown prince, could not even shed a tear. Rather than stare at the ceiling all night in battle with trepidation, Vaughan had retrieved his journal and begun to sketch a silver dragon, his favorite mythical creature. It was then that the assassins had come. A powerful blast had shattered the windows and collapsed a wall of the dwelling that had served as his home for much of the past winter. Thank the gods for the magic-imbued barrier that Ithinar cast around the room every night. Without it, Vaughn might have been killed by the assault of debris. What happened after the explosion was a blur, but Vaughn remembered being separated from Ithinar and his mother in the chaos. He'd slipped through a back window and bolted for the trees. It had been decided before. Should an attack occur, Vaughn knew exactly what to do. Escape through the northern finger of the Hatchel Forest behind the house, then make way to the pre-established safe house in Beckett, the nearest town east of Findalore. There he would rendezvous with his mother, provided, of course, that she still lived. Dread threatened to twist Vaughn's stomach into a perfect sheepshank, but he vanquished it swiftly. He couldn't succumb to vexation. Palinora had Ithinar, an incomparable veteran blade master and hero of the Arcadian Rebellion. She would be fine. When his bare toe kissed the angry tooth of a rock, Vaughn cried out and staggered. His fingers rubbed a sticky slickness that could only be blood. Although he wanted to continue, to run as far and fast as he could, it was futile to keep stumbling about in utter darkness. He might walk right off a cliff at this rate. He could not cast magic, even here when it was needed the most. The casting would give the assassins his exact location. It always had. After a moment of contemplation, Vaughn decided that he should go no further. His feet were being shredded on brambles and stones, and he risked breaking a leg if he continued. He would remain stationary until the sky lightened enough to continue. Sinking to the earth, he pulled knees to chin and wrapped trembling arms around his legs. And thus, Vaunus Aurelius spent his first night as the crown prince of Septaria beneath the apathetic brush of the Hatchel Forest.